All right, guys, I'm going to go over these. You shouldn't have to need much help on these first couple ones. Plus 4, that's where we're graphing. This is here to help you, though, in case you were kind of struggling on graphing. You're going down 3. This tells you rise or run. This is always run. The denominator is always going to run. This tells you rise or fall. It's negative, so you're going to fall 1, 2, 3 over 1. Why is it going to be a straight line? Because that line right there, right? Equal to? Straight line through it. Now, people are still struggling with the shading. I'm going to take 0, 0. I'm going to take this coordinate, 0, 0. I'm going to plug it in and see if it makes sense. 0 here, 0 here. Well, let me write this a little neater. It's kind of tough with my mouse. But 0 is greater than or equal to negative 3 times 0 plus 4. So it becomes 0 is greater than or equal to 4. Is 0 greater than 4? No, 0 is not greater than 4. So you don't shade. We're not shading that way. Why would we shade this way? If 0, 0 did work, if it did check out and make sense, it doesn't. So we're going to shade the opposite side. Okay? Opposite side, and that would be your answer. Okay? Negative 5. Sorry, move this a little bit. Negative 5, we're going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, over 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to get to use a straight line tool again. This is what it would look like on your graph. Now, does 0, 0 work? Again, if it does, we'll shade over it. If it doesn't work, we can't shade over it. If we plug in 0 here, it all goes away. Is 0 less than negative 5? Less than or equal to negative 5? 0 is not less than negative 5, so this is not true. This statement was not true. So we don't shade over the 0. We shade opposite. Okay? Next one, this was a system. There's 2 of them you have to graph. First step, negative 2. All right, then we're going to go down 1 to the right one. Because this is really, there's negative 1 there. So it's negative 1 over 1 is the slope. Okay. This one is a straight line because it's equal to. All right, I'll make it smaller. And then let's go ahead and do the 0, 0. Again, we're going to plug in 0, 0 to see if it works. If it does work, obviously the shading is going to go this way. Let's see. Does 0, 0 work? Is 0, I'm going to plug in 0 right here. Is that less than or equal to negative 1 times 0? That just becomes 0. Is 0 less than negative 2? Is 0 less than negative 2? No. 0 is greater than negative 2. So we don't shade over the 0. A lot of these are no's, which is interesting. If it's a true statement, you shade over the 0. If it's false, you shade opposite of the 0. This was false. We're not going to shade on the 0. We're going to shade opposite of the line. All right? That's the first one. Next one, different color, plus 2. Positive 2. We're going to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 1. Straight line tool. I know it's not perfect. You can make it perfect. I'm doing this pretty quick. It's going to be 0, 0. If it does work, we are going to shade over it. Is 0 greater than or equal to negative 5 times 0? 0. Is 0 greater than positive 2? Nope. Once again, it is not true. So we're shading opposite. We're not going to shade over the 0. Guys, this isn't always going to be the case. There are going to be times where the 0 does work. And you're going to see that in the next one. But if we shade all this, that's great. Where does it overlap? That's your exact answer. This little piece, this little chunk right here, that's the answer we're looking for. Okay? All right, now let's go to this one. All right, so positive 2. We're going to go up 1 over 2. Solid line. Terrible. Let's try this again. All right, that one's better. And 0, 0. If I plug in 0, 0, does it work? 0, 0. Basically, it's going to be 0 less than or equal to 2. Is 0 less than 2? Yes, it is. So we are. This is a true statement. All right, 0 is less than or equal to 2. So we're going to shade down here. Everything that's going to be over the, we're actually shading over the 0 and everything in this area. Okay? Now let's go ahead and do the next one. Different color. We'll keep it Christmassy. -3 down 2 over 1. This one's going to be, I gave you the fancy way of doing it. I thought I was cool. You can do a straight line and then bust out the eraser. Oops. That kind of messed things up here though. But it's okay. I can kind of still see what's going on here. And then it's going to be a 0, 0 would be shading to the right. Let's see, -2 times 0 minus 3. Well, obviously anything times 0. So 0 less than -3. 0 is not less than -3. 0 is bigger than -3. So we're going to shade this way. We're not going to shade over the 0. We're not going to shade over the 0 because it's a false statement. When it's true, we shade over the 0. When it's false, we don't. And then we find the overlapping portion. You got to let me know kind of that you get where the overlapping portion is. Okay? And it's all right here. You can even do that for me. That would help me see as well that you're doing it and getting it. All right, let's keep going. This is new. Next one, go ahead and graph it. Push pause too, please, to go ahead and work this on your own and then check your work. That's better than just cheating off of me. That doesn't help. -3, and then 1x, up 1 over 1. Isn't that the slope? 1 over 1, when there's something there. Make sure you don't forget that. This is also -1 here. So then I'm going to go greater than or equal to. So let's plug in 0. Oh, let me draw my line, straight line. All right, shading 0, 0, 0, greater than or equal to 0 minus 3. All right, we're going to say 0 greater than or equal to -3. Yes, 0 is greater. Yes. So we're going to shade over the 0. This made sense, so we're going to shade this way over the 0. Because that's the point we plugged in. If the point you plug in works, you can use any point. If that point works, you shade over it. Lots of shading going on over here. All right, that's the first part. That's the first answer. Let's use the next one. -1. Then we're going to go down 1 to the right one. All right, straight line tool. And 0, 0. If we're going to shade 0, 0, it's going to be above the line. Let's see if it works. Is 0 greater than or equal to -1? Is 0 greater than -1? Yes, 0 is greater than -1. So we are going to shade over the 0. Pretty easy to see where the overlapping portion is, right? There's your overlapping portion, this part right here. You could give me a solution of what point would work in there. Many of them would. Over 1 up 1, over 1 up 2, over 2 up 2. All those points would work. Okay? Good. Next one. Let's do this one. Let's go. -2. Push pause, please. Do this one on your own, and then check your work. Negative goes to the 5, all right? Not just to the middle. It goes to the 5. So you're going to go down 5. Hold up, though. This is a great one, okay? It's -5 over 2. So that means you're going to go down 5 to the right, too, for this slope. But if I go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm going to be off the graph over 2. So you can do the opposite of down 5 over 2. Down 5 over 2. What's the opposite of down 5 over 2? When I say over, I mean to the right. Could you go up 5 to the left 2? Because like I said right now, if you would have done the original one, your point would have been over here somewhere. Let me move this a little bit more. It would have been down here, right? Down 5 over 2. But if you go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and don't go to the right, but go to the left, you'll get that same kind of answer. And this one is a straight line because it's equal to. All right, 0, 0 method. Let's go, let's get it. So I'm going to plug in 0 here, 0 here. Is 0 less than or equal to negative 2? Is 0 less than or equal to negative 2? No, 0 is not less than negative 2. 0 is greater than negative 2. So I'm going to shade opposite of that. All right. Next one. Positive 2. Right here. I'm going to go down 1. Remember, the negative applies to the numerator. Down 1 over 2. And this one's going to be a dotted line. We're going to do my fancy technique. Very, very high tech. Don't try this at home. All right, my dotted line. And then which way is it going to go? Let's plug in the 0, 0. 0 is less than, cross all this out because it's times 0. 2. Is 0 less than 2? Yes, in my opinion it is, right? Of course it is. All right, and then where does it overlap? You can see pretty clearly it's this portion right there would be your answer. Okay? All right, this one was a trip. I was trying to get you guys to think outside the box. Let's go ahead and try this one. There's a point there. Oops, this doesn't work with my stylus sometimes. So there's a point there and a point here. Let's do this line first. All right, negative 1 is for sure going to be my y-intercept, right? And then we're going down 1 to the right one. Down 1 to the right one. Wouldn't that be negative x? Down 1 to the right one? But we're shading over the 0, 0. 0, 0 should be true. Let's see about this. If we're shading over the 0, 0, let's try this. If 0, 0 is true, 0 is here and 0 is here, this would cancel out, and all you would have left is negative 1. What would make sense on this problem? By the way, it's equal to, right? Because of the straight line. You see the straight line? So it's going to be equal to. What would make sense? Is 0 greater than negative 1 or less than negative 1? And we know it's greater than. Okay, so that was a tough one. We had to plug in the 0, 0 to see what would work. Again, 0 is for your y, 0 for your x. This all crosses out, right? So really, all that happens is you have 0 and negative 1. How does it make sense? It has to make sense because we colored on the 0. We colored above, right? We colored on this point right there. So it's got to be, is it greater than? Isn't 0 greater than? And why is it equal to? Because it's a straight line, solid line, all right? Little tough. You got to think outside the box a little bit. I love it, though. It's good stuff. So this is going to be greater than or equal to. And then what about the next one? Let's find other points. There's a point. There's a point, right? So I know right away it's going to be y, and then negative 3 is over here. Up 1 over 1 is just going to be x. And let's try our 0, 0 one more time. If 0 is here and 0 is here, it would be 0 and negative 3, right? Let me split this out a little more. 0 and negative 3. So this is going to get crossed out. Negative 3 comes down here. Is 0 greater than? Yep. So it's going to be the same idea. They're both going to be greater than or equal to. Boom. And that would be your answer. Not too crazy. Last one. Keep it going. Ooh, they're both dotted, which is good to know. There's not going to be any equal twos. Let's do the first one. This one's here. Positive 2. We know it's at plus 2. Going down 1 over 3. Down 1 over 3. Interesting. And guess what? We are not shading over the 0, 0. So we're not. Notice how this is the 0, 0. We're not shading over it. We're shading above it. So we got to pick the opposite one of this. So this cancels out for 0. And then you're going to have 0 and 2. What would be the opposite? Would you say 0 is greater than 2? Doesn't that not make sense, right? That doesn't make sense. So that would work because we don't want to make sense, remember? Because we're not going over the 0. This is tough stuff. I'm not going to lie. This is higher level stuff. I wouldn't give this to you the first day ever. And you're like, well, why did you do it, Marusik, you meanie? Well, it's fun. It's fun to challenge you guys. All right, -3. And then where's the next point at? Probably right here. Up here. So we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Up 4 over 3x. Okay. Is this shading over the 0, 0? You know what? This is kind of tough because it actually is going to. And what's crazy is like, no, it's not. It's over here. But if this is shading this way, right? Notice how this line's shading this way. Won't it eventually shade through the 0, 0 too? It's just showing you the answer, remember? So this one's kind of crazy. Hope I didn't screw that one up in the last one. Let's see. And then, so it is going to make sense. So 0 and 0 is 0, -3. 0 would be greater than -3. Don't worry about these last two if you got these wrong. These are tough problems, okay? That would be your answer on this one. Let me see if I messed up on this one at all. No, we're good. All right, cool. All right, guys, hopefully this is going to help you, and we'll talk about this again on